Welcome to News 18 Showsha. I'm Yatamanyu Narain and I'm with the very versatile indie artist Saahel, who has blessed us with viral tracks like Zarya. And I mean, he has gone viral every time with all the music that he has composed. And we are going to talk about his latest song, Mazak.
Hello, guys. Thank you so much for having me on this.
Right, right. So, I mean, let's begin with your latest track, which is Mazaki. I felt the song had multiple layers. I mean, it talks about agony, it talks about pain, it talks about heartbreak. But, the melody is very peppy. It has got the verb, it has got everything which is very peppy. So, how difficult was it to, bring these two, contradictory emotions together in a single song?
It's quite challenging to pull something off like this, and
Right,
I always want to do that because I've heard a bunch of songs which are not from this country. They end up making songs which are super sad in terms of lyrics and very peppy and rhythmic in terms of the music and stuff. So I really wanted to pull that off, get my lyrics which are super the sort of lyrics which I like, very heavy and very
right.
um, sad and stuff, and put it on a hip hop trap beat. Uh, it just went very well, and I feel like the song really wanted that, and the melodies complemented it. So I was like, what, let's just go with that.
Right, right, right. So, I mean, you became a viral sensation with your debut single, which was Zarya. So, I would like to know more about the story behind that song. And I mean, right from how did you conceptualize it, and how did you produce it, and how was that entire journey of creating that song?
Okay, so Zarya is actually my debut track, so it was quite difficult to knock that off because we went through a bunch of demos and stuff, and a bunch of beats and everything. कि यार ये select करेगी, ये select करे. So it was like a big confusion going on with the team and me. But
Right,
we finally found this one beat, and the song speaks about a lot of passion. There's a lot of passion in it, and uh, it speaks of a perspective जहाँ पर यार कि just for the sake of passion, the person can do anything and would do anything. And I
right,
feel in everyone's life we have that phase where we have that passion कि यार इसके लिए अपन कुछ भी कर सकते हैं, and we can do whatever we want. So I
right,
really want to speak about that and
right.
that passion which drives it is Zarya. So I made a song about Zarya. Whatever sort of passion is being with you guys and it's driving you. That is your Zarya.
Right, but were you anticipating this kind of response? I mean, it went viral all over social media. It went viral on YouTube. It went viral all over. So, were you anticipating this kind of response when you were creating this song?
I got like a hint of it because while we were making the song, we were also doing like a bunch of shows and stuff, and
Right,
those were my like very first early shows, and I always end up sharing my unreleased tracks.
right,
If I'm doing a set, so I put my unreleased track and just check the crowd reaction, like what they
right,
think. But when I played Zarya, the whole crowd immediately rose up because it's very difficult for a ओरिजिनल अनरिलीज सॉन्ग टू कि यार यहाँ पर लोग साथ में गाना नहीं गाएंगे कुछ नहीं because this
right,
is the first time you're playing the song then. But Zarya was the sort of song कि यार it's very easy to like get hooked on. It's
right.
very simple. It's very to the point, and I feel like that's the reason why the song is doing so well, and it did so well.
Right, right, right. So you tend to cover a lot of English songs, but you put a very desi twist to it. I mean, whether it was like Stay or Arcade or Call Me by Your Name. So I mean, how did you come up with this idea of mixing and blending these two things or two sensibilities?
I don't know. It just came out of super like random situation. Like I feel like whatever we do in our language, it's another level of emotion and depth,
Yeah.
and it just puts another feel to it. So I
Right,
was like, what if we get all of these English tracks and just put our Hindi soul lyrics in it, and let's see how it works out. So I had this concept and I did like a little rough lyric down because I think so my first rendition, like a Hindi version, was Heartbreak Anniversary, the Giveon
right,
song.
right,
So I ended up slapping the lyrics on and I sent it to my friend, and he was like, I don't like it, bro. Like it's not having I don't see much potential in this. But for some reason, I don't know why I didn't listen to him, but I just went with the flow and I was like, you know what, I don't care what people think about it. And the next day I uploaded a track with the whole video and everything, and immediately it caught up and it blew up.
Right. So I mean, social media has played a very major role in your life, it seems. And but how pivotal it has been for you? I mean, towards pushing your original music or like even the covers. I mean, how pivotal social media has been for you? I mean, how have you utilized it, and how can upcoming artists can utilize this particular space to put up their put out their music, put out their stuff.
Uh, See, in today's day and age, I feel like without social media, it's very difficult for a musician to thrive because it's a very important way to connect with your audience, to like know your audience and stuff and what they want, and just
Right,
analyze the whole thing and sort of songs you want to put out. You can like learn from that. So
right.
it is very important for every single artist in today's day and age. But
Mhm.
for me, social media has played a very major role because those were my first very initial points where I started off getting attention and getting my music heard basically. I think so. It was after lockdown when I started posting music on Instagram,
Right,
and immediately I think so after a month or two, my IGTVs were getting like a bunch of attention. I was getting like 10,000 to like 15,000 views every single video,
right,
and उसके बाद I think so within a month or something reels came,
right,
क्योंकि lockdown में nobody had nothing to do. The only thing
right,
was like reels बनाओ reels दिखाओ. So I hopped on reels and फिर I made my Hindi versions everything, and yeah, that's how social media has been super important to me.
right. So now, like you have been trained in the discipline of Hindustani classical music, and one can catch glimpses of the skill set in all your on almost all your tracks. But like there are many independent artists that are trained in Hindustani classical. They usually venture into the fusion genre where they create like where they keep the intrinsic value of Hindustani classical music, but they don't experiment with it much. So, I mean, at what point in your life did you decide how your music should sound like, and how's the initial training helped you and still helps you in your music production process?
Hindustani classical music has been a very integral part of my life. It's like it comes naturally. Even if I don't want to do it, it just flows naturally because that's something which I can't get out of my mind. It's like a body part which is constantly attached with me.
Right,
So whatever sort of music I make, it definitely has some sort of Indian classical influences in it because be it Zarya, be it Mazakia, be it Dai, it's
right.
just that in Dai you can see it more clearly.
More
It's
evident, yeah.
there.
Towards the end of the song, you can see more. Right.
Exactly. So in Daiba, it's more visible, but even if you hear Mazakia, all those little murkis and
Yeah,
harkats,
Murtiyas and Harkats. Yeah.
exactly. So,
Yeah.
it's very obvious of me to do something that is classical because I just can't, if a Sahel song comes out, it definitely has some sort of classical influence. But I don't know if I should call it fusion,
It's not
but
fusion.
it's not fusion.
Right.
But my soundscape has just evolved. Like, I just let it go with the flow. And if we see Zarya and Mazakia, you can find similarities, but you can see just the pattern of growth. Ki, yaar, I am
Yes.
trying to evolve my sound, and I love that.
Correct. And at the same time, your music also heavily dabbles in R&B and soul. So, I mean, how did your fascination towards these genres start? And I mean, what were some of your primary influences that helped you shape your music?
Okay, so uh, my cousin brother, right? He was very much into hip hop. Back then, he was listening to Eminem. He was listening to like 50 Cent and stuff. And I think so. I was probably 7 or 8. He he played me some hip hop music and stuff. And hip hop and R&B are like very
Right,
connected. They're like very much like together.
right.
So me being like super melodic and stuff and learning classical music, I was like, why is there not singing in hip hop and stuff? तो आई वाज लाइक यार मेरे को ये ढूंढना है जहाँ पर हिप हॉप बीट्स होते हैं बट दे आर लाइक सिंगिंग super soul and R&B.
And
Eventually I found my way to R&B. I was listening to a bunch of R&B tracks, and that's where I felt like the chord progressions and stuff are like really something I'm like trying to relate with.
right,
And yeah, I ended up making music like that.
right. In a way, R&B is very much similar to Hindustani classical music. Like
It
Hindustani
is, yeah,
classical music has like Harkat and Murtiyas, R&B has
yeah,
runs.
yeah, yeah.
Right. So, I mean, you have been doing live shows for quite some time now. So, what are some of your memorable moments that you can recall from these live shows or these concerts? And how do you make these your concerts different from, for example, your contemporaries?
Okay, so my live shows currently like consist of a lot of my Hindi renditions and stuff and
Right,
everything. Like since I've started to do my original music as well. So like a bunch of original tracks, unreleased tracks and stuff. And
right.
that's how usually the live set goes for me. But in terms of my memories, there has been a ton. There's like bad, there's like good as
Okay,
well.
then.
Yeah, of course.
Right.
Most of them are like good only, thank God. But we've had fair share of bad as well.
Right,
But good ones are just like, all the love that fans like give, all the gifts and everything I get. And
right.
those make the place where I perform and the show which I do very memorable and very near and dear to my heart.
Right, right, right. So, it is very important for an indie artist to go viral in order to, capture people's attention or, create their own listeners base. So, and
Hmm.
for that, many artists tend to stick to one formula. Like if a song works and they start using that formula for other music also. So, have you ever dealt with a similar kind of dilemma? I mean, where the pressure of going viral with a song was so much that it hinders with your, song making process.
I feel like first of all, we just need to make good music.
Right,
Just keep the viral fact away for a while and just focus on making the best sort of music that can come out of you. That is
right,
very important. Just learning and like observing and being in that position where you can trust on yourself and believe in yourself to put out that music. I feel like that is very necessary. And I feel like after the music is done, these are the next things which come in line, that you have to go viral and stuff. For
right,
that, I feel like you need to have a very nice online presence. You need
right.
to be out there. You need to be
Right,
posting it. You need to be making sure that people know your song is out. And for
right.
that, I feel like Instagram and all of these social media platforms are
Very, very
uh,
helpful.
they are very helpful. They play a very crucial role. So the first thing is that just focus on making good music, and the second
Mhm.
is uh, letting know people that you have dropped music is very important. Because if
Interest-
they don't know, they're not going to hear the track. So these are the two things which are essential. That's what I feel like.
Interesting. So, I mean, along with independent music, will you be up to venture into, Bollywood or mainstream music at some point in your life? And if yes, who would you really like to work with?
Definitely, I feel like there's going to be a time where I will or I want to be in the Bollywood space, because if you see, there is a bunch of artists who have already established their ground in there. For example, there's Pratik Kuhad and there's
Wow.
O, who are basically just like, not really working with Bollywood, but Bollywood wants their work. Like,
Right,
these guys are giving out their songs to
right,
Bollywood to play on their movies and stuff. So I feel like there's going to be a point where us, like kids like me who are making
hmm,
music right now, will give their songs to Bollywood, and
right,
that's how it's going to work.
right, right, right. So, do you have any albums in the pipeline? I mean, considering all your singles have received unparalleled love, so will you be working in an album very soon? And if yes, will you be collaborating with other artists as well?
I am planning to do collaborations, because
Right.
I feel like it's high time that I collab, because I haven't collaborated at
Yeah.
all past this year. But planning a bunch of collaborations definitely,
Right.
and we have an EP being made for the next year.
Oh,
I am super excited for it. So yeah, that's the music that is in the pipeline.
right, right, right. Thank you so much for your time, Sahil. I mean, I'm also excited for your EP after listening to all your songs, and I'm really looking forward to more amazing stuff from you in the future.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, News 18, for having me. Yeah,
Yeah,
this was such an amazing time.
definitely. Thank you. Thank you, Sahil.
Thank you so much.